Okay, good morning. So let us start this class because I don't know whether anyone else will join. Uh, so I will just share the screen, the text with you. Can you see? দেখতে পাচ্ছ টেক্সটটা?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Okay. So I had taken two classes. দুটো ক্লাস নিয়েছিলাম এবারে I was at this point. So let us read from here. So the old man was uh, in the sea. He was all alone, deep into the sea, and he was watching uh, for a big fish. He watched the flying fish burst out again and again, and the ineffectual movements of the bird. That school has gotten away from me, he thought. They are moving out too fast and too far. But perhaps I will pick up a stray, and perhaps my big fish is around them. My big fish must be somewhere. So the old man was feeling quite optimistic that he will get a new fish, big fish. So he was hoping that maybe his the time has come for him to get this fish. The clouds over the land now rose like mountains, and the coast was only a long green line with the grey blue hills behind it. So you have the natural description, uh, how the old man could see the coast. It was far away, and the blue hills, the grey blue hills were there beyond it. The water was a dark blue now, so dark that it was almost purple. So just notice the different ways in which Ernest Hemingway is describing the sea, the color of the sea. Ernest Hemingway was himself, a hunter and a fisherman, so he had first-hand experience about all these things. As he looked down into it, he saw the red sifting of the plankton in the dark water and the strange light the sun made now. He watched his lines to see them go straight down out of sight into the water, and he was happy to see so much plankton because it meant fish. So he could see the plankton which the fish used to eat. So he felt that he would get some fish. The strange light the sun made in the water, now that the sun was higher, meant good weather, and so did the shape of the clouds over the land. So the old man was hoping that good weather would continue. And he was, as we know, that he was uh, a very experienced fisherman, and he knew how to interpret the signs that were, the clouds. By looking at the sky, by looking at the clouds, he was able to sort of understand. He was able to understand uh, the state of the weather. So obviously, uh, the old man's trained eyes, it told him that there would be good weather. Uh, but the bird was almost out of sight now, and nothing showed on the surface of the water but some patches of yellow, sun-bleached sargasso weed, and the purple, formalized, iridescent, gelatinous bladder of a Portuguese man of war floating close. This should be close behind, beside the boat. Now, here uh, the writer is describing this, the plankton means the small organisms that float in the water of the sea. And he is also here describing some patches of yellow sun-bleached sargasso weed, the weed that float in the sea. And this Portuguese man of war, actually these were the jellyfish. The gelatinous means jelly-like. So these were floating close beside the boat, and uh, these actually were poisonous. So the old man did not like these jellyfishes. Uh, it turned on its side and then righted itself. It floated cheerfully as a bubble with its long deadly purple filaments trailing a yard behind it in the water. So obviously it had long filaments, and it was floating beside the boat. Agua Mala, the man said, you whore. So, Agua Mala here actually it means bad water. So he was saying names to the. He didn't like these creatures. From where he swung lightly against his oars, he looked down into the water and saw the tiny fish that were colored like the trailing filaments, and swam between them and under the small shade the bubble made as it drifted. So there is this description of the small fishes which were swimming. They were immune to its poison. So the jellyfish, it was a poisonous creature of the sea, but the little fishes which were swimming, they were immune. They did not, the jellyfish could not harm them. But men were not, and when some of the filaments would catch on a line and rest there, slimy and purple, while the old man was working a fish, he would have welts and sores on his arms and hands, of the sort that poison ivy or poison oak can give. So the old man didn't like these jellyfishes because they had poisonous elements, and if you touched them, then you would have welts and sores. So because of the poison. But these poisonings from the aguamala came quickly and struck like a whiplash. So obviously it was very painful for human beings. The iridescent bubbles were beautiful, but they were the falsest thing in the sea. And the old man loved to see the big sea turtles eating them. So the jellyfish were beautiful to look at. Iridescent meaning glowing in the sun. And however, though they looked quite beautiful, they were the falsest thing, meaning they looked good, but if you touched them, obviously you would be feeling the pain. And the sea turtles, uh, these jellyfishes were eaten by them. The turtles saw them, approached them from the front, then shut their eyes so they were completely carapaced, and ate them, filaments and all. Now, carapace means the hard protective covering of bone, that is the shell of the turtle, the turtles that they had, the hard shell. So the turtles closed their eyes so that the filaments would not get into their eyes, and then they would eat them. The old man loved to see the turtles eat them, and he loved to walk on them on the beach after a storm and hear them pop when he stepped on them with the horny soles of his feet. So the old man, when these jellyfishes used to be, washed ashore on the sea beach, uh, মানে স্টর্মের পরে, ঝড়ের পরে যখন এগুলো সিশোরে চলে আসতো, ওল্ড ম্যান ইউজ টু ওয়াক অন দেম বিকজ হি ডিড নট like these jellyfishes, and if he stepped on them, there would be a kind of pop sound because of how they would burst. So there is this description of the jellyfishes. Now we get the description of the turtles. So all these descriptions, you can understand that Ernest Hemingway was very much familiar with the sea. Ernest Hemingway তিনি যেহেতু মানে সমুদ্রের সম্বন্ধে একদমই মানে ফার্স্ট হ্যান্ড তার নলেজ ছিল, and he used to go fishing and all that. So যা কিছু বর্ণনা এখানে পাবে, you will find that those descriptions will be coming from his first hand knowledge. He loved green turtles and hawkbills with their elegance and speed and their great value, and he had a friendly contempt for the huge, stupid loggerheads, yellow in their armor plating, strange in their love making, and happily eating the Portuguese men of war with their eyes shut. So there were different types of turtles. বিভিন্ন ধরনের ওখানে মানে আর কি কচ্ছপ, যেগুলো সামুদ্রিক কচ্ছপ ছিল. So the old man used to love them all, and there were green turtles, hawkbills, তারপরে stupid loggerheads, যেগুলো ওই জেলিফিশ খেত, যেগুলোকে পর্তুগিজ ম্যান অফ ওয়ার বলা হচ্ছে. He had no mysticism about turtles, although he had gone in turtle boats for many years. He was sorry for them all, even the great trunk packs that were as long as the skiff and weighed a ton. So there were very big turtles which were as long as the boat of the old man and weighed a ton. So you can understand that how big they were. Most people are heartless about turtles because a turtle's heart will beat for hours after he has been cut up and butchered. But the old man thought, I have such a heart too, and my feet and hands are like theirs. So the old man was very, sympathetic towards these turtles, and he was a kind old man. You will find that he had a lot of sympathy for the fishes, for the birds, and the turtles of the sea. So he in a way identified himself with these creatures. He ate the white eggs to give himself strength. He ate them all through May to be strong in September and October for the truly big fish. So the old man ate the turtle eggs because he wanted to preserve or build up his energy. As you know, he knew that he would have to go fishing in the months of September and October, so he would need the strength. He also drank a cup of shark liver oil each day from the big drum in the shack where many of the fishermen kept their gear. So he also drank shark liver oil. It was there for all fishermen who wanted it. Most fishermen hated the taste, but it was no worse than getting up at the hours that they rose, and it was very good against all colds and gripes, and it was good for the eyes. So shark liver oil was, it was a kind of very good for the cold and gripes. So as you can see, cold here and gripes means influenza. So it was good for the cold and good for the eyes. Now the old man looked up and saw that the bird was circling again. He's found fish, he said aloud. No flying fish broke the surface, and there was no scattering of bait fish. But as the old man watched, a small tuna rose in the air, turned and dropped headfirst into the water. So the old man now could see a tuna. The tuna shone silver in the sun, and after he had dropped back into the water, another and another rose, and they were jumping in all directions, churning the water and leaping in long jumps after the bait. They were circling it and driving it. Now the old man could see tuna fish, the tuna fish, and he noticed quite a number of tuna fishes which were jumping out of the water. Uh, and the bait was there, as you know, so they were, the old man hoped that they would take the bait. If they don't travel too fast, I will get into them, the old man thought, and he watched the school working the water white, and the bird now dropping and dipping into the bait fish that were forced to the surface in their panic. So the old man was hoping that they would take the bait. এই টুনা ফিশগুলো মানে ওই বেটটা খাবে আর কি, এটা আশা করছিল old man. The bird is a great help, the old man said. Just then the stern line came taut under his foot where he had kept a loop of the line, and he dropped his oars and felt tile weight uh, felt it should be the weight felt the weight of the small tuna's shivering pull as he held the line firm and commenced to haul it in. So now was the time to take in the fish. The shivering increased as he pulled in, and he could see the blue black back of the fish in the water and the gold of his sides before he swung him over the side and into the boat. So this was the first fish that the old man was able to catch after 84 days. He lay in the stern in the sun, compact and bullet-shaped, his big unintelligent eyes staring as he thumped his life out against the planking of the boat with the quick shivering strokes of his neat, fast-moving tail. The old man hit him on the head for kindness and kicked him, his body still shuddering, under the shade of the stern. So the old man did not let it, die slowly. So he hit it on the head so it would die instantly. Albacore, he said aloud, he will make a beautiful bait. He will weigh 10 pounds. So this was the first fish that he has caught. 84 দিন ধরে মাছ ধরতে পারেননি ওল্ড ম্যান, কিন্তু তারপরে এই প্রথম তিনি এই টুনা ফিশটা ধরলেন. So this fish will act as a bait. He did not remember when he had first started to talk aloud when he was by himself. He had sung when he was by himself in the old days, and he had sung at night sometimes when he was alone steering on his watch in the smacks or in the turtle boats. So the old man had this habit of talking to himself. নিজের মনে কথা বলছেন, এবং এর আগে তিনি অনেক সময় রাত্রির বেলা যখন একা সমুদ্রে থাকতেন, he used to sing to himself, গানও গাইতেন. He had probably started to talk aloud when alone, when the boy had left. So when the boy had left him, then he had been alone. So he had started to talk to himself. নিজেই নিজের সঙ্গে কথা বলছেন, কথা বলার কেউ নেই বলে. But he did not remember. When he and the boy fished together, they usually spoke only when it was necessary. So when they were together, they did not used to talk too much. They talked at night or when they were storm-bound by bad weather. It was considered a virtue not to talk unnecessarily at sea, and the old man had always considered it so and respected it. But now he said his thoughts aloud many times, since there was no one that they could annoy. So মানে মাছ ধরতে যাওয়ার মাঝিদের মানে এই জেলেদের একটা নিয়ম হচ্ছে যে বেশি কথা না বলা, নট টু টক আননেসেসারিলি, সমুদ্রে মাছ ধরতে গিয়ে, মানে সেটা ডিস্টারবেন্স করতে পারে অন্যদের, এবং সেটা obviously the old man respected that, that thing, that law. এবং এখানে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে ওই ম্যানোলিন যখন ওনাকে ছেড়ে চলে গেল, তারপর থেকেই উনি এই জোরে জোরে নিজের মনে কথা বলছেন আর কি, কেউ সেখানে আর নেই, হি ওয়াজ অ্যালোন. If the others heard me talking out loud, they would think that I am crazy. যে ভাববে আমি পাগল হয়ে গেছি, he said aloud. But since I am not crazy, I do not care. And the rich have radios to talk to them in their boats and to bring them the baseball. So the other fishermen who were rich fishermen, they had radios installed in their বোটস, তাদের বোটে রেডিও থাকে এবং সেখানে তারা নানা রকম খবর টবর পায়, বেসবলের খবর। সো দ্য ওল্ড ম্যান ওয়াজ ইন্টারেস্টেড ইন দিস গেম অফ বেসবল। Now is no time to think of baseball, he thought. Now is the time to think of only one thing, that which I was born for. There might be a big one around that school, he thought. So the school of the fish আর কি, সেখানে আরো অন্য বড় একটা মাছ থাকতে পারে। There might be a big one around that school, he thought. I picked up only a straggler from the albacore that were feeding, but they are working far out and fast. Everything that shows on the surface today travels very fast and to the northeast. Can that be the time of day, or is it some sign of weather that I do not know? So the old man noticed one thing, that all the fishes, they were swimming towards the northeast. So the old man was thinking to himself whether there was a reason for this, that there was a kind of weather coming which made them swim like this. He could not see the green of the shore now, but only the tops of the blue hills that showed white as though they were snow-capped, and the clouds that looked like high snow mountains above them. The sea was very dark, and the light made prisms in the water. So the distant hills could be seen. The myriad flecks of the plankton were annulled now by the high sun, and it was only the great deep prisms in the blue water that the old man saw now, with his lines going straight down into the water that was a mile deep. So the plankton যেগুলো ওখানে জলে ভাসছিল, সেগুলো এখন আর তার আর কি ব্রাইটনেসটা এখন আর দেখা যাচ্ছে না, বিকজ দ্য সান ওয়াজ হাই, দ্য ডে ওয়াজ প্রোগ্রেসিং, মিড ডে হয়ে যাচ্ছে, এবং the prisms and the blue water, so the prism like light, sunlight. The tuna, the fishermen called all the fish of the species tuna, and only distinguished among them by their proper names. When they came to sell them or to trade them for baits, were down again. The sun was hot now, and the old man felt it on the back of his neck and felt the sweat trickle down his back as he rode. So the sun was very hot now, মানে দুপুর হয়ে যাচ্ছে এবং সূর্যের তেজটা বাড়ছে, এবং ওল্ড ম্যান মানে ঘামতে শুরু করেছে, তাকে তো মানে দাঁড় বাইতে হচ্ছে। I could just drift, he thought, and sleep and put a bite of line around my toe to wake me. But today is 85 days and I should fish the day well. So একবার তিনি ভাবছেন যে আমায় মানে রোয়িংটা ছেড়ে দিয়ে মানে জাস্ট ড্রিফট করে আর কি, যাতে বোটটা হাওয়ার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে যাবে আর কি, বাতাসের সঙ্গে সঙ্গে, সেরকম করলে একটুখানি ঘুমিয়ে নিতে পারি, মানে টোতে পুরো আঙুলে লাইনটাকে বেঁধে, তাহলে যদি কোনো ফিশ আসে দেন হি উইল ওয়েক আপ। কিন্তু he decided doing against that. So he said, no, I should not do that, because it was the 85th day and I should fish well. একটা টুনা ধরেছি, কিন্তু I should try to catch a big fish. আচ্ছা, bite of line মানে হচ্ছে a curve in a rope, রোপের মধ্যে যে কার্ভটা আছে। Just then, watching his lines, he saw one of the projecting green sticks dip sharply. Yes, he said, yes, and shipped his oars without bumping the boat. He reached out for the line and held it softly between the thumb and forefinger of his right hand. He felt no strain nor weight, and he held the line lightly. Then it came again. This time it was a tentative pull, not solid nor heavy, and he knew exactly what it was. 100 fathoms down, a marlin was eating the sardines that covered the point and the shank of the hook, where the hand-forged hook projected from the head of the small tuna. So the old man now could understand that a big marlin হচ্ছে এক ধরনের বড় মাছ, sea fish, that 100 fathoms down. So deep down in the sea, a big marlin was eating the bait. এই বেটটা খাচ্ছে, সেই জন্য ওরকম মানে টান পড়ছে. The old man held the line delicately and softly with his left hand, unleashed it from the stick. Now he could let it run through his fingers without the fish feeling any tension. So the fish should not feel alarmed, and then it would escape. So it should not be disturbed when it was eating. This far out, he must be huge in this month, he thought. Eat them, fish, eat them. Please eat them. So now you can see how the old man was encouraging the fish to eat the bait. মানে নিজের মনেই কথা বলছেন যে নিশ্চয়ই খুব বড় মাছ হবে এই সময়, এত দূরে এসেছেন উনি সমুদ্রে. How fresh they are, and you down there 600 feet in the cold water in the dark. Make another turn in the dark and come back and eat them. He felt the light, delicate pulling and then a harder pull when a sardine's head must have been more difficult to break from the hook. Then there was nothing. So he could sense all these pulls. Come on, the old man said aloud. Make another turn. Just smell them. Aren't they lovely? Eat them good now. And then there is the tuna, hard and cold and lovely. Don't be shy, fish. Eat them. So you can see how he was impatient. He was getting impatient. He was urging the fish to eat those tunas. He waited with the line between his thumb and his finger, watching it and the other lines at the same time, for the fish might have swum up or down. Then came the same delicate pulling touch again. He will take it, the old man said aloud. God help him to take it. He did not take it though. He was gone and the old man felt nothing. So uh, the old man was hoping that the fish would be hooked. ফিশটা মানে আটকে যাবে, কিন্তু সেটা আর হলো না. He can't have gone, he said. Christ knows he can't have gone. He's making a turn. Maybe he has been hooked before. And he remembered something of it. So the old man was feeling that maybe the fish was making a turn. ঘুরছে চারপাশে এবং তারপরে এসে খাবে. Then he felt the gentle touch on the line and he was happy. It was only his turn, he said. He will take it. বলছে নিশ্চয়ই এটা খাবে. He was happy, feeling the gentle pulling. And then he felt something hard and unbelievably heavy. It was the weight of the fish, and he let the line slip down, 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 unrolling off the first of the two reserve coils. So he had a lot of line, reserve line ছিল, সেগুলোকে আস্তে আস্তে ছাড়ছেন এবারে, ক্রমশ সেটা নিচে যাচ্ছে. As it went down, slipping lightly through the old man's fingers, he still could feel the great weight, though the pressure of his thumb and finger were almost imperceptible. মানে লাইনটা ধরে আছেন উনি বুড়ো আঙুল আর ওই ইন্ডেক্স ফিঙ্গার দিয়ে এভাবে ধরে আস্তে আস্তে করে ছাড়ছেন. What a fish, he said. He has it sideways in his mouth now and he is moving off with it. So মুখের পাশে ওটা আটকে গেছে হুকটা. Then he will turn and swallow it, he thought. He did not say that because he knew that if you said a good thing, it might not happen. এবারে নিশ্চয়ই তাহলে গিলে ফেলবে. He knew what a huge fish this was, and he thought of him moving away in the darkness with the tuna held crosswise in his mouth. At that moment he felt him stop moving, but the weight was still there. Then the weight increased and he gave more line. He tightened the pressure of his thumb and finger for a moment, and the weight increased and he was going straight down. তাহলে এখানে যে দেখো ডেসক্রিপশন গুলো, এগুলো সবই মানে একজন এক্সপার্ট ফিশারম্যানের, মানে নিজে মাছ না ধরলে, ডিপ সি ফিশিং না করলে এগুলো কিন্তু জানা যায় না. সো you can easily understand that Ernest Hemingway's descriptions এগুলো কত simple ভাষায় দেয়া. So his style, prose style, খুব simple and lucid. It was very simple because he had been a reporter earlier, so earlier in his youth, and his style was very, succinct. It was very to the point. বাড়তি কথা নেই এখানে. uh, he's taken it, he said, now I'll let him eat it well. So এবারে মাছটাকে বলছে এবারে আমি ওকে খেতে দেব. He let the line slip through his fingers while he reached down with his left hand and made fast the free end of the two reserve coils to the loop of the two reserve coils of the next line. Now he was ready. সুতরাং যতটা রিজার্ভ কয়েল লাগে উনি সেগুলোকে বাঁ হাত দিয়ে ধরে ফ্রি এন্ডের সঙ্গে বাকি যে রিজার্ভ কয়েলগুলো ছিল সেগুলোকে তার সঙ্গে আটকে দিচ্ছেন. He had 340 fathom coils of line in reserve now, as well as the coil he was using. So he had a lot of reserve coils. The fish, if it was to go down further down, তাহলে কিন্তু উনি রিজার্ভ কয়েল ছাড়তে পারবেন. Eat it a little more, he said. Eat it well. So he was encouraging the fish কে বলছে যে ভালো করে খাও. Eat it so that the point of the hook goes into your heart and kills you, he thought. Come up easy and let me put the harpoon into you. All right, are you ready? Have you been long enough at table? So the old man was hoping that the fish would, the hook would go into its heart and it will die, and he will be able to bring it up. Now he said aloud and struck hard with both hands, gained a yard of line, and then struck again and again, swinging with each arm alternately on the cord with all the strength of his arms and the pivoted weight of his body. So now he knew how to, that it was time to catch the fish. Nothing happened. The fish just moved away slowly. The old man could not raise him an inch. চেষ্টা করছিল মানে উপরে ওঠানোর. His line was strong and made for heavy fish, and he held it against his back, until it was so taut that beads of water were jumping from it. So the old man was trying to bring it up a little up, কিন্তু সেটা হচ্ছে না. Then it began to make a slow hissing sound in the water, and he still held it, bracing himself against the thwart and leaning back against the pool. The boat began to move slowly off toward the northwest. So আস্তে আস্তে যাচ্ছে আর কি. The fish moved steadily and they traveled slowly on the calm water. The other baits were still in the water, but there was nothing to be done. So the fish was moving with that hook in its mouth. It was stuck there, and the fish was towing the boat. বোটটাকে টেনে নিয়ে যাচ্ছে. I wish I had the boy, the old man said aloud. I am being towed by a fish, and I am the towing bit. I could make the line fast, but then he could break it. I must hold him all I can and give him line when he must have it. Thank God he is traveling and not going down. এবারে as you can see, the old man was missing the boy Manolin. যে সঙ্গে boy যদি থাকতো তাহলে ওর খুব সুবিধে হতো. So he said that aloud, বলছে ফিশটা আমাকে টানতে টানতে নিয়ে যাচ্ছে. I have become the towing bit. Bit মানে a frame composed of two strong oak timbers fixed vertically. So লাইনটাকে করতে পারি মানে ফাস্ট জোরে টানতে পারি, কিন্তু তাহলে it would break. So I have to hold it and give it line. লাইন ছাড়তে হবে যতক্ষণ না মানে উঠে আসছে. So the fish was traveling. It was not going down. আরো ডিপে যাচ্ছে না. What I will do if he decides to go down, I don't know. What I'll do if he sounds and dies, I don't know. But I'll do something. There are plenty of things I can do. So the old man was thinking all this while he was thinking what he should do. He held the line against his back and watched it slant in the water, the skiff moving steadily to the northwest. This will kill him, the old man thought. He can't do this forever. But 4 hours later, the fish was still swimming steadily out to sea toward towing the skiff, and the old man was still braced solidly with the line across his back. So the old man was hoping that the fish would get tired and it would have to come up. But even after 4 hours had gone, the fish was moving. It was pulling the boat, and the old man was sitting with the line on his breast on his back. It was noon when I hooked him, he said, and I have never seen him. So it was midday যখন ফিশটা মানে হুকড হয়েছে. He had pushed his straw hat hard down on his head before he hooked the fish, and it was cutting his forehead. He was thirsty too, and he got down on his knees and, being careful not to jerk on the line, moved as far into the bow as he could get and reached the water bottle with one hand. He opened it and drank a little. Then he rested against the bow. He rested sitting on the unstepped mast and sail, and tried not to think but only to endure. So now he had to wait and endure the pain. Then he looked behind him and saw that no land was visible. That makes no difference, he thought. I can always come in on the glow from Havana. There are 2 more hours before the sun sets. Maybe he will come up before that. So the old man looked around him এবং দেখছেন যে উনি অনেক ভেতরে মানে অনেক গভীরে সমুদ্রে চলে এসেছেন, কোনো ল্যান্ড দেখা যাচ্ছে না কোথাও. But he felt that when evening comes on, he will be able to locate the lights in Havana. So this is a story of Cuba, as you know, and the capital of Cuba is Havana. That's the capital. So হাভানার যে সন্ধ্যাবেলার লাইট গুলো উনি দেখতে পাবেন আশা করছেন, এবং he was hoping that the fish should come up সন্ধে হওয়ার আগে. If he doesn't, maybe he will come up with the moon. If he does not do that, maybe he will come up with the sunrise. So the old man was calculating যে কতক্ষণে এই মাছটা উপরে উঠবে. যদি সন্ধ্যাবেলা না আসে, এটা যখন চাঁদ উঠবে তখন আসবে, যদি তাও না আসে তাহলে যখন সানরাইজ হবে মানে আর্লি মর্নিং ভোরবেলা আসবে. I have no cramps and I feel strong. So the old man was feeling confident যে আমার কোনো ক্র্যাম্প হয়নি হাতে আর কি, সেই জন্য আমি যথেষ্ট শক্তিশালী. It is he that has the hook in his mouth. But what a fish to pull like that! He must have his mouth shut tight on the wire. I wish I could see him. I wish I could see him only once to know what I have against me. So you can see here that the old man wanted to see his adversary, মানে প্রতিপক্ষকে দেখতে চাইছেন যে কার সঙ্গে আমার যুদ্ধটা হচ্ছে, এই মাছটা কিরকম, কত বড় বা তার কিরকম আকার আকৃতি. So he was eager to see the fish, but the fish was obviously, it was not going to come up so soon. The fish never changed his course nor his direction all that night, as far as the man could tell from watching the stars. So obviously the fish was not going to change its course. It was cold after the sun went down. It was cold after the sun went down. And the old man's sweat dried cold on his back and his arms and his old legs. So the sun had set, সন্ধে হয়ে গেছে. And the old man's sweat dried cold on his back and his arms and his old legs. During the day, he had taken the sack that covered the bait box and spread it in the sun to dry. After the sun went down, he tied it around his neck so that it hung down over his back, and he cautiously worked it down under the line that was across his shoulders now. So what he did, he put that sack on his back and the line above it, যাতে বেশি ওনার না লাগে আর কি, স্যাকটা পিঠের উপর দিয়ে তার উপর দিয়ে লাইনটাকে সাবধানে নিয়েছে. The sack cushioned the line and he had found a way of leaning forward against the bow so that he was almost comfortable. The position actually was only somewhat less intolerable, but he thought of it as almost comfortable. সুতরাং মানে তার ওই লাইনটা ওরকম ভাবে চাপ দিচ্ছে, অত নিচে গেছে এবং ফিশটা দ্যাট ওয়াজ a heavy fish, a very big fish. Therefore, he was feeling a lot of pain, but still he tried to make the situation, to make the most of the situation. যতটা পারেন এটাকে কমফোর্টেবল করার চেষ্টা করছেন. I can do nothing with him and he can do nothing with me, he thought, not as long as he keeps this up. So there was nothing to be done. Once he stood up and urinated over the side of the skiff and looked at the stars and checked his course. The line showed like a phosphorescent streak in the water straight out from his shoulders. They were moving more slowly now, and the glow of Havana was not so strong, so that he knew the current must be carrying them to the eastward. If I lose the glare of Havana, we must be going more to the eastward, he thought. So he was looking at the lights and he was calculating. For if the fish's course held true, I must see it for many more hours. I wonder how the baseball came out in the Grand Leagues today, he thought. It would be wonderful to do this with a radio. Then he thought, think of it always. Think of what you are doing. You must do nothing stupid. So at first he felt that it would have been better if he had a radio, but then he told himself that that would not do and it was better without a radio. Nothing stupid should be done. Then he said aloud, I wish I had the boy to help me and to see this. So this is the second time that he felt that if he had the boy, then he would be a witness to this and he would be also kind of a help for him. No one should be alone in their old age, he thought, but it is unavoidable. I must remember to eat the tuna before he spoils in order to keep strong. Remember, no matter how little you want to, that you must eat him in the morning. Remember, he said to himself. So you can see here that the old man was thinking of the boy and he was thinking of himself all alone in the dark, in the night time, and he could see nothing. He was all alone. Just imagine, মানে জাস্ট ইমাজিন করো সিচুয়েশনটা কিরকম, মানে সমুদ্রে একা ওই বোটে করে উনি যাচ্ছেন অন্ধকারে রাত্রিবেলা, and there was no one with him and he was all alone, এবং ওই মাছটা নিচে ওই it was swimming and the boat was drifting, and the old man was talking to himself constantly. সবসময় নিজের সঙ্গে কথা বলছেন, কেউ যেহেতু নেই, to keep up his courage and to keep calm. So he was talking to himself এবং নিজেকে রিমাইন্ডার দিচ্ছেন যে আমাকে সকালবেলা ওই টুনাটা খেতে হবে, so that he would remain strong, কেননা he would have to fight with this fish which was a very big fish. So he was reminding himself that I have to eat the tuna in the morning. During the night, two porpoises came around the boat and he could hear them rolling and blowing. He could tell the difference between the blowing noise the male made and the sighing blow of the female. So you can see how the old man knew, even from the sounds made by these porpoises, which was the male and which was the female. So the old man was very experienced without seeing them. They are good, he said. They play and make jokes and love one another. They are our brothers, like the flying fish. So the old man liked the porpoises. So he looked upon them as their man's friends. Then he began to pity the great fish that he had hooked. He is wonderful and strange, and who knows how old he is, he thought. So the old man was now feeling sorry for the fish. Uh, he felt that, well, how old is that fish? Never have I had such a strong fish, nor one who acted so strangely. Perhaps he is too wise to jump. He could ruin me by jumping or by a wild rush. So the old man was thinking about the fish. যে ফিশটা যদি হঠাৎ করে লাফিয়ে মানে জলের মধ্যে থেকে বেরিয়ে আসে, লাফায়, তাহলে হয়তো লাইনটা ব্রেক হয়ে যাবে, ভেঙে যাবে, বা যদি খুব জোরে ঝটকা মারে. So the old man was feeling like this, but perhaps he has been hooked many times before and he knows that this is how he should make his fight. So maybe earlier he had been hooked by other people and he knew that he would have to go on swimming. He cannot know that it is only one man against him, nor that it is an old man. So the fish does not know that the person who had hooked him is not a young man, not a strong young man, but only an old man who has little strength. But what a great fish he is, and what will he bring in the market if the flesh is good? So here the old man is thinking about the time when he would go to the market with the fish, when he would be selling the fish. So he would get a lot of money. He took the bait like a male and he pulls like a male, and his fight has no panic in it. So the old man thinks that the fish is a male fish, not a female fish, because uh, by some of the characteristics that it has shown, like the manly characteristics, masculine characteristics. So it was fighting, it was not panicking, not afraid. I wonder if he has any plans of it, or if he is just as desperate as I am. So the old man is thinking a lot of things. নানা রকমের চিন্তা, মানে ভাবনা ওল্ড ম্যানের মাথায় আসছে, এবং ওল্ড ম্যান মনে করছে যে এই মাছটা কি ভাবছে, এর প্ল্যান কি, এরম ভাবে সুইমিং করছে এত নিচে সমুদ্রে. Is he as desperate to escape as I am desperate to bring him up? মানে আমার মতোই desperate কিনা. He remembered the time he had hooked one of a pair of marlin. The male fish always let the female fish feed first, and the hooked fish, the female, made a wild, panic-stricken, despairing fight that soon exhausted her. And all the time the male had stayed with her, crossing the line and circling with her on the surface. So the old man was thinking of the time when the pair of marlins had come and the female fish had been hooked. He had stayed so close that the old man was afraid he would cut the line with his tail, which was sharp as a scythe and almost of that size and shape. মার্লিনের ল্যাজ যেটা থাকে, এগুলো ওই কাস্তের মতো তার মানে সাইজ, মানে দেখতে, এবং সেগুলো খুব ধার. So the old man was feeling afraid. When the old man had gasped her and clubbed her, holding the rapier bill with its sandpaper edge and dubbing her across the top of her head until her color turned to a color almost like the backing of mirrors, and then with the boy's aid hoisted her aboard, the male fish had stayed by the side of the boat. Then while the old man was clearing the lines and preparing the harpoon, the male fish jumped high into the air beside the boat to see where the female was, and then went down deep. His lavender wings, that were his pectoral fins, spread wide, and all his wide lavender stripes showing. He was beautiful, the old man remembered, and he had stayed. So the old man was thinking how the male fish had kept with the female fish, and when that female fish had been hooked and it was taken aboard, and the old man had killed the female fish. So and it jumped out of the water to look at the female fish before it went down into the depths of the sea. That was the saddest thing I ever saw with them, the old man thought. The boy was sad too, and we begged her pardon and butchered her promptly. So, obviously, as you can see, the old man was feeling sorry that he had to kill the fish, and he begged her pardon. So let us stop here. গল্পটা নিশ্চয়ই তোমাদের ভালোই লাগছে এবং it is a first hand kind of a knowledge that um, that is there of this, the way this old man, old fisherman Santiago, he is sort of ফাইটিং উইথ দিস মার্লিন। এই মার্লিনটাকে, তার সঙ্গে তার একটা যুদ্ধ চলছে এবং দিস ইজ দ্য ওয়ে দ্য ফাইট ইজ গোয়িং অন।